Hi
Hello.
everyone. Today is Sunday and it's another work from home opportunities Sunday hangout. My name is Travis, the digital marketing nomad, and I have Kai and Dana this week on our Sunday panel. Today we are going to be talking about communities and the power and advantages of communities. But let's start off by introducing the panel as well. So let's start off with Kai.
Hey everybody, this is Kai Kawai from kaikawai.com. Um, we hang out every week here on the Work from Home Opportunities Sunday Hangout. So check us out. And we were just talking about this. So Dana may have a playlist up that she posts to her profile. So look Dana up. She's one of the moderators. So is Travis. If you wanted to catch any of the replays, and then usually we'll put the replays up in the training and education section of the community. So look us up if there's other topics you're interested in. This one's going to be fun. So how you doing, everybody?
And Dana, Jenna.
Hello, everyone. My name's Dana Kirk. Catch me at danarpo.wordpress.com. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday afternoon. And yes, Kai, I will be working on that playlist so we have all of our Sunday hangouts in one place, and that way you can come and visit and find a topic that you want to, learn a little bit more on. And there you go. Welcome everybody to the live broadcast today.
Awesome. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about communities and the power and the advantages of communities. Let's just quickly start off by asking this one question. Is there too many communities to join, do you guys think? Is there a number that is a good number to join communities? Should you have like 2 or 3? What is your guys' take on the amount of communities you should be in? Kai, do you want to start it off?
Sure. You know, I think there's a saturation point where you can't possibly contribute effectively, and it does depend on what the purpose of the community is. Like there's a couple that I kind of joined because, like for instance, I'm not like the best blogger. I do most of my stuff on video, but I do some blogging and I do some sales pages and other graphics for other people. And so I joined a community that has, like, I think it's called like 9 million pictures, or 9.99999.99999 million pictures, something like that, just to get inspiration for some of the the way that I don't consider myself creative necessarily, but some of the creatives out there, the people who are a little more artsy than me, have conceptualized like different things. So it gives me ideas. So if you're, that's one way you can use a community is it gives you inspiration for what you do or aspire to do. And then there's ones like this community where I'm a lot more involved and a regular contributor. And but yeah, I could see people getting saturated if they join, like, if you're network marketing and you join every network marketing community or 15 or 20 of them. I don't know how you could have a real meaningful like engagement being spread out like that.
Is there a number that you think becomes saturated? Like, because you said like 15 to 20. Like, I really don't have that many communities myself, but is there like a number that you have that you're active in, like a?
I actually have 4 that I'm active in, and I'm 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 not. I don't think I'm any busier than anybody else who's working, building businesses online. But those they keep me plenty busy. So I don't know how you could be like in more than that. Now I am part of more than I am. I think I want to say I have about 15. But like I said, some of them are more inspirational. Others are training, and then that's really it. I don't have any other ones that I just use to socialize on.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I think four. I say 3 to 4 is a good, or 3 to 5 is a good number for me when to be engaged with on a regular basis. But let's ask Dana, what's your take on the number of communities that you're active in, and let's say
I
regularly?
I'm sorry for interrupting, but I got started a little bit early there, Travis. A little fast on the gun. No, usually the I usually do about 3. I'm like you, and like Kai, I'm like 3 to 5 that I really put effort into. The others I get inspiration from, training, different content from it. So I'm I'm a really 3 to 5. It's just it varies. Some in my instance are about religion, and some are about work from home opportunities, which I'm a moderator of, and that's where I spend most of my time is in that one. So, and that's where I actually get a lot of inspiration for the things that I do too, when it comes to online marketing. So my answer is 3 to 5. That to really have a good focus on it, and I agree with Kai. Otherwise, you spread yourself way too thin, trying to keep up with everybody in 50 different communities. Maybe make a
Uh,
community of your own.
Absolutely. I think that is a good number as well. Look at got Christina in the house. Christina,
Hey.
do you wanna give a quick introduction to everyone, and then we are talking. Oh, is she frozen? Um, well, let's wait on that one. Yeah, I agree. I think. Oh, there we go.
She's muted.
Christina, do you want to introduce yourself? And then the question that we're on right now is, what's the number of active communities you're in on a regular basis contributing to?
Hey guys, Christina Irvin, youtube.com/the Christina Irvin, um, and we're talking about the number of active communities, huh? Just in Google Plus. I'm really focusing just on probably about 4 right now, 3 or 4.
Yeah, just talking to everyone else. I think the sweet spot. Oh, look at Danny's coming on too. Danny, what is up?
What's up, bro?
Just talking about communities. How many active communities we're all in. So far, it seems like the sweet spot is between 3 and 5 communities that we're active in. How many communities are you active in, Danny?
Ooh, active. I'm gonna say not many. I just I focus on getting results, so I don't stay in a lot of communities hanging out all day. Even though I know it's important. However, I just put the focus where I get results. So, but I would just say 1.
No, and that's fair. I think anything between more than 5 is you're getting a little too much. You can't get results as well as if you keep the numbers lower. My personal opinion, but everyone has their own opinions. But let's continue on to what we look for in a community to join. For example, there's a lot of different, like, make money online, work from home communities, but what do you look for when joining a community? Christina, do you want to start it off?
First and foremost, I'm looking for activity and engagement. So I will quickly scroll down through there, make sure that there are posts going on every day, and I mean multiple posts. Then I try to make sure and see that those posts are not just spam, but rather engaged. And then I'm looking for a community with a moderator, because the moderators, they make sure to keep the spam out. They help keep the spam out. So those are, and then I try, and then from there I will look to see what categories that community has that I know that I can leverage my expertise the most in.
Awesome. Great point. Dana, do you want to add anything to that? What you look for when you join a community?
Well, I gotta say, Christina, girl, you were right on with your answer, because I was sitting here saying amen to everything. Because I look for the exact same things. But one of the things, especially if it's a different interest, I look for those who have kind of the same interest that I do, or you know, like if they get their inspiration from pictures, that's something we have in common, and therefore I can, you know, relate that to us. We have something in common, and then be able to build that relationship. So I not only look for the things that Christina puts there, but I also look for ways that I can connect with somebody else. If they're hurting and need prayer, or if you know, if they lost their dog last Thanksgiving, those are things that I can relate to. So I look for things that I can relate to in order to build that relationship.
Also, some great points as well added there. Danny, anything to add when it comes to looking for communities?
Have to unmute myself. Yeah, I definitely look for. I look for a little bit of flexibility. I don't mind going in. I like more generic work from home opportunities, or things like, you know, for instance, local marketing. Yes, most of the communities that I see on Google Plus aren't hyperactive, but there are some. But that's the thing I mainly look for, because again, I want to be able to connect with people, help people, serve people with like what I do as well, and at the same time be able to be in some mutual beneficial relationships at the same time. So, you know, I definitely look for, you know, I connect with people who have certain skill sets and are at certain levels. So I definitely just try to find those people out within the actual community that I'm in, but that's pretty much how it is, how I look for. So
That's a great point that you add there, that in communities, there are different levels of people in a community. You have people that have just came online today, and then you have people that have been online for a couple of years within a community. And so you can definitely segment a community as well, like Dan was saying there. So great point. And Kai, anything to add to what you look for in a community?
Like I said, I described a little bit before. I don't know if you want to call it utilitarian. Like it has to jive with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like for instance, most of the Facebook groups that I was even involved with had to do with either the work that I was doing with video, or a product I purchased, or a mastermind I was involved with. So same thing on Google Plus. If it's a group of like-minded people that are working on projects, it's cool because you can just like dump your stuff and say, hey, what do you guys think? Can I tweak this? Can I do this? Whatever, and you get like immediate feedback. And so I kind of like those communities because there's constant contributors in all of those, and they, you know, it's not, I guess it's not where I would prospect necessarily if you're talking about online, using it in that way, but definitely has to have some type of use for me to be there versus just I guess socializing.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point as well. That you can fall into the trap of joining a community just to socialize. If you're wanting to use communities to build relationships, to get more leads and traffic to where you're trying to get them to, you have to be careful of just socializing, because you can lose a lot of time on communities if you're doing it in that sense. But I do think you made a great point that communities also can be a great form of feedback and improvements if you're wanting to tweak things like you were saying there, Kai. Another question, does anyone, because there's like public communities and then there's private communities, does anyone use communities as a form, like a private community or your own community as a form of content curation?
Yeah, I do.
Do you want to touch on that, Christina, then?
Well, I have like a resource community. I call it a resource community. And it's when I find really, good content, posts from influencers or authority figures or whatever, or just anybody that offers some really good information that I know that I'm gonna want to revisit, maybe for my own purpose to curate the content or just to learn something new. Then it's kind of like a filing system. It's like my little library on Google Plus, and I can just share it to there, and I have some categories set up within there, and I can get to it quickly, and not have to worry about scrolling back through my news feed or like what day was that on,
Absolutely. That's a great way to use a private community. Does anyone else use private communities or have anything to add to using communities as a curation tool?
I actually just started one. You won't find it anywhere. It's actually by invite only, and it's more for video marketers, and kind of syndicating and people building reputation and brand, and so it's got a single purpose, and that is I can't steal that idea. I saw that another high-level marketer was doing it, and I just chanced upon it, and then probably I can't remember when he let the cat out of the bag, but he sent it out in an email post or something like that. And I was like, I knew he was doing that, so it's a great idea. It's a great use of a private community. I mean, we're all either have been part of a mastermind group or have masterminded together at one point. Why not use a community to your advantage in that regard, and give your content some traction in the process?
So 2 points to that. Number one is I've been really considering whether or not what it would be like to manage that syndication community. So I'm glad that you're talking about it and you can speak on that. And number two, I'm just assuming that my invitation's in the mail or what? Is it lost in my email? Just trying to figure out why I haven't seen the invitation yet. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's brand new. Actually, Danny was like the first one that heard about it only because we were talking on the phone. And it's just funny
I'm
that
putting you on the spot, buddy. I'm sorry. I couldn't pass it up though.
Andy hasn't even sent out the invites yet because he was talking. It's like he's doing it, but trust me, he hasn't even sent them out yet. He's like, we were just on the phone about that the other day.
Yeah. So, but I'm telling you, that's one of those. We're releasing this stuff, and kids, if you're watching this, don't try this at home. We'll give you more updates as this goes along, but definitely.
So you really can't speak to the challenge of managing it then.
Well, what I'm going to do, because of the people that are going to be invited to be a part of that group, it's going to kind of go on the honor system, and it'll be people that I've probably spoken with, like on this level or on the phone, and so yeah, definitely people who are part of. I don't want to call it. I don't have an inner circle. It's the circle of trust. It's the circle of trust.
That's a interesting way to use a community as well. I think a lot of people don't utilize it. Is having a community, just for example, for your team, so people that have joined you in any type of business. It doesn't have to necessarily be your primary business, but curating content to help people that have done business with you. So, for example, maybe let's use Aweber, for example, autoresponder. People that have bought through your affiliate link, you can provide tutorials and stuff, or etc. Or if it's your primary business, curate content for how to use the back end systems and stuff like that is another way to use communities. Does anyone do that or know of anybody that is using it more as a team based tool?
Hey Travis, one of the communities that I'm in it's a closed community for people that are just in this marketing team, and so yeah, that's definitely a place where we bring. I mean, there's marketers in that group on all different levels, but we're all part of the same system. So you could have a seven-figure guy there talking with and having you check out his funnel, or you could have a brand new person that did their first video, and we're taking them through the steps to get their sales funnel built. So those are just awesome as far as growing and helping people, but they're also, the only way you get invited to that is if you join that system and you're taking action, because it's hard to be part of a community like that and not contribute. Like if you don't contribute, it's almost like you don't feel good about even adding any content to the forum, because there's so many people that are bringing up just constant flow of great ideas.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I am part of a couple communities, closed communities where either it's because of a business opportunity or like a mastermind that I'm a part of. I agree with you. If you're active in communities, you can get a lot out of it, because you do have all the community, and then within usually
Did you guys lose Travis?
Yeah, I lost his audio.
Okay. Cool.
I've lost audio and I've got the same picture frozen.
Well, hopefully he saved his URL. That's the quickest way to get back on. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep going till Travis can log back off and get back on.
Kai, interesting point. Like you to touch on real quick, because I think you hint on something where you were talking about the level, the levels of people in, like even in private communities where some people don't necessarily, I don't want to say interact, but they don't produce stuff, or because they may feel, I forgot what word you used, but basically you were talking about how if they're not contributing, how that can hinder because they're not, taking action or what have you. Can you kind of elaborate on that? Because you're in multiple different communities and some higher level type stuff too, as well as communities that have beginners and all kinds of other levels. So if you can speak to that real quick, I think that would be awesome.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, if you're a community, a public community anyway, I think you can become an authority figure in. But when you're in a closed group like that, there's like, why would you spend the money to get into a program or system and then have that amazing tool where you had you had basically the audience of people who work a multitude of different people in this particular group or mastermind. You have people who have been making 6 and 7 figures and hosting live events. You have people who are on their way to that level, and then you have people who are just starting out. Why wouldn't you be involved with that? Like, why wouldn't you try to siphon off as much knowledge and get yourself up to speed as quickly as possible by utilizing a resource like that? And so, and then the other piece of that is if you're not going to contribute, like, what are you doing there? Almost. It's I don't think, like, everybody's been really cool in this one mastermind, but like, I think we're all of the same mind. Like, hey, let's get this done. Let's put it out there. What are you waiting for? And even the new folks catch that spirit. So when they come in, they're just like, they're pumping out the content, and you can see a growth. Like in the last 60 days, when we had kind of a challenge in that group, and even there were people in there that are brand new to online and never posted their own video, and we took them from that to posting their own video, making their own blogs, commenting on other people's content, doing Facebook ads, doing like YouTube video funnels, and getting leads and making commissions in 60 days. And it just, there's, I don't want to call it pressure. It's more like invigorating. It's more like empowering to have a group of people that are like, hey man, yeah, let's do this. Hey, just put it out there. Tweak that, do that. And they're not trying to hurt your feelings, but it's just, it's a great way to be part of something that will help you, further, if that's what you want to do. And I'm sure there's communities like that in all different niches, not just what I'm doing, but I mean, I've seen everything out there from master gardeners to guys who are making their own diesel engines using alternative fuels. I mean, it's amazing what's out there.
Absolutely. I think you made some great points. I think communities are also great. They can use as an accountability thing, which helps get people taking action.
That's a great point. That's like the word, accountability. There you go.
I thought that's what you were looking for.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, sorry, I had a little bit of technical issues here earlier, so I missed part of it, but got the last end. Does anyone? What are the differences between communities on Google Plus and, let's say, Facebook? And what ones do you prefer?
Let me go first.
Get him, Danny.
So my biggest, it's funny because even Christina made a post or a video that I wound up sharing and commenting on, because it's something that is a legitimate complaint in Facebook. It's that whatever community or most of the communities that you wind up in, they're to two extremes. They're either it's a complete spam community that's like not managed, or the whole other extreme is you can be in this community, but we only talk about this one product or related to it. And it's so restrictive, and that's the thing that I touched on earlier, which with communities I look for flexibility. Because it even got to a point where even if you were sharing content about, let's say, what the product is, they didn't want you sharing your YouTube video or doing it in a YouTube version because they didn't want people clicking, going to your channel, and then you winding up. But they had such a lack mentality that it was mind-blowing to me. So when I came over to Google Plus, it was more of you had the flexibility within the rules. So for instance, the work from home opportunity community, the community we're in, they have their set of rules. Like if you want to just post your blog post, post video, just ask questions, engage with people, but there's also certain rules that you have to follow, like introducing yourself, commenting and sharing on other people's posts, welcoming people to the community, so on and so forth. And just so many communities on Facebook, you don't have that flexibility to do that stuff. It's just like, welcome people and only talk about this one product and that's it. And it's like, well, and then, but then you, again, they talk about how can you learn about other people's like businesses and stuff when the only way to do that is to chat message them, and half the time the chat messages are literally like they just get right into talking about business. At least this way in these communities, when you post stuff, you can post stuff about your opportunity, you can show trainings related to your opportunity, and then people kind of know what you actually do from the content and stuff that you share versus the whole restriction and people have to go to your actual homepage to do so.
Boom. Enough said.
Nothing to add, Christina? Really?
Like, literally, my boy just hit it. Like, that's, yeah. That's it. I think for me also, in addition to all of that good stuff that Danny said, is the presence of, you can find more communities in Google Plus, in my opinion, that have a presence of a moderator than you can in Facebook. People just kind of just let their groups go in Facebook. But Danny hit everything I was going to say.
I think that is partially because in Facebook you can't have categories and you can't really organize your community. Like, you can have one thing pinned and then everything else just gets like thrown below, and then if you want to keep things near the top, you have to like bump it up by like posting a comment or something. And that can take a lot of work, I'm guessing. I've never.
Yeah, like I tried to set up like files within my Facebook communities, and then I realized a lot of people don't even know how to use those. And so they just, rather than trying to fool with figuring it out, which really isn't complicated, they just don't participate.
I feel, at least in my experience with Facebook communities, is more of the closed groups are usually better in my experience. But that's me. Dana or Kai have anything to add on the Facebook Google Plus community battle topic?
Go ahead, Dana.
Okay. Well, first I gotta say, go Daniel. That was an awesome answer, man. That was awesome. I agree with Christina. You nailed it on the head. But when it comes to, I'm in a couple of closed groups on Facebook, and most of them, I don't feel like I have as much option. Yeah, they're moderated, but some are for one purpose about networking with other network marketers, and then there's one for my primary business, and within those, it's okay to have stuff, but when you go back to try to find something, say somebody posted something 2 months ago, it's easier to me, it seems like, in Google Plus to be able to do it because you can categorize it, and I think it's a lot better as a reference point to do it within Google Plus instead of within Facebook. So that's my experience with it. I prefer Google Plus over Facebook any day of the week, and twice on Sundays.
Amen. You bring up a really good point, Dana. I too obviously prefer Google Plus, but when you talk about being able to categorize things and go back and sort of index things, that's another reason why I prefer Google Plus, because in Facebook you can use hashtags, but really they don't really function very well. But like in Google Plus, and I'm thinking we'll probably do a hashtag hangout sometime. I know Kai's over there like drooling at the mouth thinking about it, aren't you, Kai? But in Google Plus, if you leverage hashtags the right way, that is that is just another way of, within communities, you can pull things up a lot quicker too. Which is, even you can even leverage the hashtags to just communicate with, maybe you have a team of people, and if you have a unique hashtag that really is just between you guys, that isn't really popular, that's yet another way that you guys can communicate just between each other. So that's another good thing that you could do with Google Plus that you can't with Facebook.
Just with on the hashtag topic, I'm sure Kai has more to say about it, but if you can also use it as a way just to curate your content. So if you, and it doesn't have to be your own content. Like when you're sharing content, you can create a branded hashtag, for example. So people that are following you, they can see everything you're sharing a lot easier as well. It's just through a branded hashtag at the end of it. I'm planning to expand into that in the next little bit here myself, but I'm sure Kai has way more about hashtags than I do. But let's also get Kai's opinion on the Facebook Google Plus community battle.
Yeah, so I do like the hashtag for Google Plus, and I get a little bit of traction with it on Twitter as well. It's definitely mines data deeper there. But so on the Facebook groups, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there are a bunch of groups that people will post. They're just like spam groups, really. And that's all they do is you can see them posted in like 4 or 5 of the same niche groups, and there's really there's no engagement. I don't know if they're having success. Apparently somebody's getting some clicks because they still do it. I don't know if it's more to identify an audience, so they go in there and they look and see who's posting, and if that's their target market, then they use that when they're targeting their Facebook ads. I don't. Definitely.
They're just not paying attention to their business because they know they're not getting clicks.
Well, the people who are posting can't possibly be successful. It's the people who are hosting the groups that have all of those names of the people who join the group. Those are the people who are benefiting from those groups. So really the ones that I'm active in on Facebook are basically the same as on Google Plus. They serve a purpose. Like it's either a mastermind group or a something to do with, for me, for video marketing. Like there's a couple of different forums that are awesome for that. There's also one that's really cool put on for copywriting that I'm involved with, and so I guess that's what I use them for mostly is for upping my game and strategically more so than, again, for social purposes.
Yeah.
A lot of the people on Facebook that post to a lot of different communities use bots, because if you look in those kind of communities that are like that, you have like ads for bots to post all your things. I personally haven't seen any for Google Plus, but I'm sure they do exist, just like for most of the social networks. I had a question, and I just forgot what it was. I'm gonna have to bring up that one. I didn't write it down because I was listening to Kai's points. I lost it. Oh well.
I have a question to maybe throw out there. So when you find this community that you like, so far you see the value in it, it's going to give you, it's going to give you knowledge, or you can relate to someone in that community. Once you get there, what do? It's simple. I mean, the obvious is say hi, but what are some of the unique things that you do in order to attract attention in that new community that you just joined?
Great question. Christina looks eager to tackle this one, so.
I am my. You know what? It doesn't matter whether it's in a community or it's in my news feed or it's one-on-one. I like to be. I like to bring up my vibration, my energy, Anyway, I think I did a piece of content on that earlier in the week. I'm gonna stand out anywhere I go, because everybody else is just chilling, and I just have to step it up just a little bit with a little bit of energy and a little bit of interest, um, and then I'm gonna get that attention. So I would say, when you come into the community, it's kind of crazy. I always get into my content, like the things that I have listed on to make a content on. You guys, I always talk about it. Um, but when you first come into the community, I think you absolutely need to introduce yourself without your link and without talking about your opportunity, because nobody cares. Everybody's got their own opportunity that they're all about. So stop talking about your opportunity when you first come in. And quite honestly, we all know that we're all like-minded, so we don't even need to address that. Just tell us a little bit about you personally. What's driven you to come online? What's driven you to join the community? What kind of hobbies you have? Something about you personally, because what that's going to do is give the engagers in the community something to chew on and engage you with.
Preach it, sister. Preach it. Um, I totally agree. Think of the community as like a cocktail party. When you walk up to somebody, don't say, "Hi, I'm with this network marketing company." You don't do that in real life. So why approach it online? Okay, yes, I'm not necessarily talking to people face to face, but conversation 101 still applies to social media people. Like, it's basic conversation. The best way to get engagement is give something, like Christina said, something that someone could use to engage with you. So if you talk about your opportunity, I don't care, like Christina said. But if you're talking about, oh, you have a family and kids, well, if I had family, like if I had kids, then I could be like, oh, I have kids, blah, blah, blah. Like if you talk about yourself, it allows more engagement. And so that is yeah, Christina, you nailed it on the head on that one.
And then we can see it in this community here. I mean, people who mention the fact that they're WAMs or work from home moms or photography, Dana's all over them. I mean, like she's like, oh, me too. Like I have this in common. People who talk about loving to travel, you're all over it. Like, right? You'll often see me when like somebody will come into this community and they're like, hey, they don't give us anything. I go to their page, their profile, their about me doesn't give us anything. You'll often see me in this community say, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. When I welcome people, because you've got to give in order to receive.
Absolutely. Make yourself seem interesting. Like, even if you don't think you're interesting, there's something that you do that will be interesting to somebody else. You have, what, like 5 million people in Google Plus as of one of the last stats I saw. I'm sure there's somebody out there that has similarities to you. So talk about those things so people can engage with.
Hey guys, here's a little tip just before you go on. Like if you and I figure that a lot of people don't do this because a lot of people don't even realize what their niche is. Really, they don't really figure within network marketing. Like if you have a health and wellness, even within health and wellness, you've got a niche. I mean, is yours more of the vegan eaters, or are you more workout minded? There's a niche within a niche within a niche, right? So guys, it's better to work with people. The more targeted your audience, the more profitable you're going to be. So when you come into a community, come into it with that mindset of highlighting and sort of bringing them out. Like come out wherever you are. Like let them know, hey, here I am. This is where you can find me. They're gonna like magnets stick to you. I'm done. Cool.
One of the things that I do myself is I try to make sure that when I go in, I of course introduce myself, but I try to give that nugget of my personality or my personal life, and so people can say this is a real person. This is not just an auto post. This is not about an opportunity. This is about a person, and that's the whole point. And so not only that, but just when I talk to other people, I just try to relate to them in similar terms between the two of us. I don't try to, talk over their head or talk below them. Or I'm online for a purpose, and that is to meet people, and that is to help people. And in order to do that, you actually have to, I agree with Christina, give so you can receive. I help others, and that's why on my tagline it says, on a mission to help others. That's the whole purpose of this. Daniel, were you going to say something?
You know it. So I want to go. I'm going to take this in two different directions, and I'm going to do it. The first one's going to be in 3 R's. It's relate, rapport, and resource. Right? 1, relate to people on whatever level. And yes, when you're talking about Dana with photography, or even myself, there's been times I've reached out to people where they said they were from Arizona, and then next thing you know, I don't hear from them. So it's that's always kind of interesting. But the other thing, so building rapport is finding that common ground, the whole me too. I mean, I even go as far as when I see truck drivers, I think you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, I try to introduce, if I know someone in a certain niche, like if, someone lives in Texas, hook them up with Kai. If we're of different nationalities, or like for instance with Christina, I mentioned something to someone else to hook them up. Or if, again, Travis being a traveling digital marketing nomad, you'd be like, you gotta check out Travis. You gotta check out Travis or connect with him. And that's also being the resource for someone. It's like finding out what they're trying to accomplish and serving first, but trying to help them. But the two-way street is they have to be transparent in what they're trying to accomplish and what they're doing. A lot of time, most people aren't being transparent of where they're at. They're not being transparent about their opportunity. They're not being. I can't tell you. There's somebody's blog who I go to, and he keeps on his post. He says, "I did a training on X," and then I go to his blog, which it's got a lot of content, no question. But then I'm like, well, where's the training? It's just images of how to do something, but it's not necessarily a step-by-step walkthrough of actual training. And then there's no video either. So I mean, his thing of actual training and what it is doesn't fit necessarily my definition. It may fit his, it may fit others, but it's just not mine. So those are 3 things: is 1, relate, build rapport, and be a resource for someone else. Now the flip side of that is as far as gosh, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought because I know I wanted to make 2 things.
Sorry, I'm rubbing off on you, Danny.
Yes, you are, Travis. Oh my gosh, I forgot what the whole other point was to that whole thing. Christina, what was your last point that you made? Because it was piggybacking something you said.
I don't know.
We are like.
I think I said you got
Playback.
Didn't
Seriously.
I say you got to give to receive?
No, because I hit that. That was the whole exchange. But there was 2 directions. I was. Oh, I got it. I got it. This is a good one. The thing is like I keep hearing this thing, and it's especially when people come online and they're first getting started, and it's the niche, right? And just like Christina was saying, there's niches within niches within niches. The problem is that most people are trying to focus on that niche first when they haven't either 1, accomplished anything, 2, don't know what kind of results they're looking for, and they should be focusing on their passion first. Let me explain why. If you focus on your passion first, the results will automatically come. You're not going to worry about, quote unquote, and I know it's important. I'm not saying it's not important, but when someone's first getting started out and there's the overwhelm, they don't need to be worried about keyword research because the LSI will pick up all the passionate things or all the things related in their actual blog posts if they're doing blog posts. The other thing is knowing that when people's expectations come in, and the results that they're looking for, they may not get those results quickly. But it's your passion that will carry you through, not necessarily the frustration of, I'm doing this to make money, so I'm going to pick this niche because it's profitable. Okay? And that's the biggest thing that I'm noticing, is how we keep focusing on niche, 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 niche. And people don't focus on what their primary thing should be, whether it's their passion and or purpose first, and then building everything around that. Because then once they understand that, hey, okay, if I love exercise, or I love eating, whatever lifestyle, vegan, or if I love coffee, or whatever it is that they like, and they can build their whole thing around that, and talking about the 5 benefits of coffee with your cholesterol, or 3 ways to save money and make residual income with coffee. Those would be things that they could really blog about without having to do research, without having to worry about the structure. It just would flow from their being of just being passionate about whatever it is that they're passionate about.
Boom. I was just talking to someone before I got on my Hangout, and it was like, are you aware of keyword research and all this other stuff? And I'm like, heck yeah, but guess what? I've not been bothered with any of that. I just wanted to establish habit, active activity, and I wanted to develop a following, an audience. Because guess what? I don't care if you have a blog, social media, videos, whatever. Who the hell cares if you're not talking to anybody? You got to get an audience, right? And the best way to get an audience is to have passion. And the best way, especially if you're someone who's introverted, maybe, or you're a little shy a little bit, I don't care who you are. When it's something you're passionate about, your energy picks up. So go ahead and help yourself with your energy and talk about what Danny was saying about what you're passionate about. Whatever part of that business opportunity you're in, there's something specifically that you're passionate about, or I can't imagine you would have joined it. Just saying.
I think those great points from both Danny and Christina. I think people sometimes do get caught up for sure when it comes to the niche that they're in. But yeah, if you definitely are talking about something that you're passionate about, like Christina said, your energy is going to pick up, and people are going to see that, and it's going to resonate with people, as Danny said, and it's going to help build rapport. And so definitely both points that both people made were great. Ty, did you have anything to add to that?
As far as going back to, I guess the original question was like, what do you do when you go into a community, right? That I can piggyback on that because it's what I do. When I go into a community, I usually I look at it like this: like, we're in a community and we're kind of a team, and everybody's got a job on that team, and what hole needs to be filled at that moment. So you come in and there's work getting done around you, but there's a missing piece. I'm going to be that missing piece. Now, again, it has to be something that that I'll be able to bring value on. If I can't speak to it, I'm not going to fake it. But that's normally what I do. And what has ended up happening is, no matter what group, that's the other thing. So folks, anybody who's watching this, whether you're new to a group, whether you're new online, whether you're new to a community, but you aspire to be a successful, gardener or copywriter or coffeepreneur, whatever you're going to be, start contributing, because people respect that. And what happens is just like Danny said, when you have, and I think this is the bigger picture of what Christina's talking about, is just this. Don't worry about all the keyword research. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Contribute. And what happens is over time you have a body of work that together collectively takes care of your keyword research for you. All right? So when people search for you, they find all of this regular content that you have been putting out or contributing, and it speaks to your authority. And then if, like now I have a lot of content out there, so now if I see somebody with a problem, I can say, hey, watch this video. I already did that. Boom. And I share the video with them, and they go, oh, wow. And then meeting some of you guys, I've sent people to your content. Hey, you know what? This is a really good article that a friend of mine wrote. Boom, and I send them to one of your blogs or to one of your posts. I don't know if everybody knows, you can go to a post and actually link to the post. Each post in Google Plus has a link of its own that you can share. So that's another way to curate your content all over the internet and share it on people's blogs and so forth. But yeah, you go in with the mindset that you're going to be a contributor and you don't worry about all the other stuff. Now, if you're going up for something really competitive, that's when you need to have that specialized skill. But we're not talking about, most of the people that are, going to be watching this or in this community, they may not have that specialized skill. They just need a body of work that they can fall back on, that they've shown that they're a contributor. And really, if you're talking about establishing authority, I don't know, we're going off on a tangent here, but if you're talking about establishing authority, say there's 100 people on your subscriber list. Well, you only need to be an authority to those 100 people. You don't need to be an authority all over the internet. Because there's like more people there's out there that are coming on or in different stages of needing assistance or searching for content, that they're going to find you at some point. And the reason is because you dove a little bit deeper and said, not only am I in health and wellness, but I'm in the moms who just had babies health and wellness, or I'm in the ladies who are going through menopause health and wellness, or I'm in the men who aren't happy because they're going balding health and wellness. You're going to know who those people are, right? By the content and the way you present yourself. So anyway, sorry I went way off the deep end there.
I think I might be getting ready to go a little bit further, but I think this is two nuggets. If y'all don't have a pen and a piece of paper, I'm going to need y'all to go on and pick it up right now. I ought to charge for this information right here. This is good. Y'all ready? I need somebody to say, yeah, we're ready. Ready? Okay.
Yes.
Leverage the groups, leverage the communities to help you build that authority. So think about your long-term business, okay? There's two things that these communities are when you get into a really good community, like the work from home community is really good. If you do have a certain skill set that you're deficient in, this is wonderful resource place. So like, I'm not the keyword specialist. I'm not the technical guru, but I got my guys here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a work at home mom or something, but I got my homegirl at the end. Like, resource, because they may not be immediate in your pocket, like cash in your pocket connections. But trust me, when you have a little bit of a project going on and you would like to rank it on the front page and you're not very big on keyword research, wouldn't it be good to have somebody that knows what they're talking about, who has some proven results that you don't actually have to pay for because you have resourced and developed a relationship enough to say, hey, I'm getting ready to do this. Do you mind to spare 15 minutes? Can you help me out with this? Or if you do have to pay for it, you get a cousin price. Like, think about your business, growing your business for the long term. Leverage these groups for that. Now, here's another good thing for communities. If you've established yourself as an authority, so maybe you're not just a beginning network marketer or a beginning marketer, you've established yourself, you've got a little bit of a following, right? But you need to extend your reach by establishing a rapport with people who are always engaging in your content and stuff. They're bringing their whole world, their whole following in connection with you and your content. I can't tell you how many new leads I've gotten this week alone, how many shares on my videos I've gotten, how many people who are liking my fan page. I didn't even tell them I had a fan page. They're just finding me on Facebook just because I've engaged and built actual communications with people within the group. Now, is that a nugget or what?
That is a great point. I do just want to add one thing to that before we start wrapping this up. When we talk about authority, you don't have to be an expert.
Nope.
And authority is like I always say, learn, do, teach. So if you learn something, let's say you learn how to create a community on Google+, you can become an authority on that topic. And so don't feel like you have to read everything on Google+ or everything on internet marketing, because if you're doing that for internet marketing, first stop, because it's such a big topic anyways. Find something, one, preferably, if you're passionate about it, because it's going to flow through your work. And so just take something, learn it, do it so you're getting results, and then teach other people to do that. One, it's creating work for you. It's also strengthening your skill. As you teach something, it makes you better at it. And you're sharing with other people. And so don't think that when you talk about authority that you have to be an expert or you have to be online for a long time. It could be anything. I just wanted to clear that point up. There are people, if they're thinking, well, I don't know what to do. Just learn something and then do it yourself and teach other people. But just let's do any last nuggets when it comes to tips on building communities, communicating communities, engaging communities. Christina, do you want to start it off and we'll work down the line?
Yeah. Just really focus on extending your connections, and then once you establish some kind of rapport within the community, don't just leave it there. Go ahead and develop some communication outside of the community, because that's where you're really going to get the opportunity then to introduce possibly your business opportunity. That's how you get the bridge to opening up to, this is why I do what I do even more, and getting them possibly introduced to your business opportunity. Because even if they're not personally your customer, trust me, if you've built a relationship, they're gonna resource and refer to you somewhere down the line.
Okay, I have to unmute myself. Absolutely. Great points. Dana, any last tips on engaging in a community?
Well, once you enter the community and you've already introduced yourself, and my biggest thing is it would be to put some content in that community, because the content will live on. Christina touched on something earlier that she's getting followers from places that she doesn't even know. I am too. I don't know how they're finding me, but they're finding me, and it's because I'm putting content, I'm putting value out there that other people need. So that right there would be my my tip, is just create some content. Tell people what you know. If you don't know anything, go research it. Find out something. Learn, do, teach. It goes down the line. So create some content, and believe me, the followers will come. They will come.
Great point. And Danny, any last tips about communities that you can add?
Absolutely. Obviously, reach out to somebody, contact them, share stuff, share about you, especially people that you connect with, for sure. So definitely contact and connect with some people. Contribute to the community, and it doesn't matter, if it's quotes, if it's trainings. Trainings are always, going back to what Christina said. Trainings are always great, no matter what they are, especially if you're doing video. Trainings are awesome. That's what people are, looking at a lot of times and sharing. And then, do stuff like this. Get on Hangouts, like connect with people in real life, face to face, on the phone, and that's it. And just do your part. Just do a little, but do something. Damn it.
Absolutely. Another great point from Danny. You're on a roll today, Danny. And Kai, last tips when it comes to communities.
Had to unmute myself. Sorry. So here's my number one tip for getting noticed in the community. Share somebody's content. They're going to take notice of you as soon as you share their content. So everyone, I guarantee you, everyone who shares my stuff, I drop them a line and say, hey, bless you, thank you. What do you do? How you doing? And anybody who actually adds me to a circle, I'll do the same thing. I'll go look at their profile. I'll see what kind of content they have. If it's good stuff, I'll share it, and I'll just drop them a line. Hey, man, I shared your stuff. Awesome. You want to get noticed? Do that.
That is so true. That is what I do. Exactly what Kai just said. That is how I utilize communities and building relationships. Is if people share your stuff, thank them. Like, they don't have to share your stuff, and so definitely be appreciative of when they share it. On Google Plus now, if you go to your home page, your home feed, there's a section that says mention. So if people share your stuff, it will show up there. And so monitor that feed, because you can see who's sharing your stuff. Engage with those people. They're seeing value in what you're providing, and so thank them, connect with them, build relationships with those people. That was my tip, but again, another week I stole my tip, so I'm just going to add to it.
Magnetic share.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, definitely check out the mention tab on your main newsfeed there, because that is a very useful tool now that we have access to that in Google Plus. But that is it for this Sunday. I want to respect everyone's time. I actually have to run really quickly soon here, so I'm going to let everyone go. Another great hangout, great information, and see everyone later.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great Sunday.
How anyone you unmute yourself?
Peace.